Hey guys, I hope that everyone's well. I just wanted to make one final video. If you get a chance to watch the other two videos that I made today, that might make more sense. But I'm basically talking about this book that I've been reading, and in the introduction it's basically saying that hip-hop is black, and it's not including white writers that kind of into that community. And there's a whole video about some of the different lines that, I had a problem with, and I thought that were against the message of creating something fresh and diverse, and, hip-hop being open and comprised of every culture and art form, and music not being something, hey Sadie, music and art being something that doesn't have a color. A black person can sing opera and do classical music. I can rap and hip-hop, we can sing soul music. I actually can't sing gospel in that style, but that's not because of my skin color. That's because my training's in more of a classical sound. But I believe that I can still be a part of soul music because it's soul music. It has to do with the soul, not the color of my skin, not the technicality or the box that I was born into. So people can't tell you who you are, and they can't tell you how you feel inside. That's up for you to decide. And it's important that we be ourselves and that we express our souls honestly, because people are complicated and they're multi-layered, and there's multiple parts to each person. And so it's just not so black and white. So I wanted to read you this line from this book that I'm reading. Again, this is, let me show you a little shot of the cover here. Breakbeat poets. And so it had some good stuff in it, and then it had some stuff where I was like, that's kind of not cool. But again, more details on that in the videos that I just posted today. But it said, hip-hop and the breakbeat generation are people who say no more denial and exclusion and exemption from whatever story or institution or art or sport or country club white supremacists wish to keep restricted. So if we know our history, we understand that for many years, black people were excluded from society and communities as a whole. They were excluded from churches and schools and all kinds of horrible things. But we need to understand that in our modern era, we need to be careful not to repeat the past. So where black people originally had to have their own churches, their own clubs, black entertainment TV came out of that. Some forms of music maybe came out of that. But we need to stop the restrictions and stop the exclusion, so that in our modern day, we're not kind of going too far to the other side, but we're promoting a society of diversity and inclusion and unity and exclusivity and freedom, really. So let's say no more to denial and exclusion and exemption from whatever story, from whatever art form, from whatever sports. Let's include white people in soul music and hip hop and black churches. Let's include black people in classical music and opera. And I mean, all of this is so stereotypical. It's obvious that if you're Asian or Hispanic, or you can do whatever you want. Yes, of course. That should be so obvious. And all I'm saying is that includes us whiteys too. We should be free to express our souls and not be limited in our expression, in our creative expression, in our freedom of expression. We should not be not allowed to play at the same playground. We should be able to participate and collaborate. And I think what beauty we could come to if we were all able to be free and come together in these ways. So the last part here, it says that hip-hop is a space where we are able to have incredibly honest and difficult conversations that are essential about the issues of the day in order to push the crew and community forward. And so that's all I'm trying to do in this video, is I also am trying to have an incredibly honest and difficult and essential conversation about an issue of this day, which is, in the writing movement, it's people who say, you can't write a black character if you're not black. Okay, well, what about Anna Karenina? That was written by a man. Like, we cannot limit our creativity. Like, you write characters that are your characters and that are your right to write. You write characters that you care about. Don't just include a person in a wheelchair or a Black person in the name of diversity. Like, write what you know, write what you care about. And I almost and said, write what you know. But we can get to know people of other races and other colors through empathy and imagination. And I believe that writing is an ideal form for that. But if we put restrictions and say, oh, like, you're only 30, so don't have an old person in your book because you have no idea, right? That's where we research and we humbly seek to know and understand and portray that character. Now, one of the big misunderstandings that happens then is, like, if I were to write a book with a Black person in it, some would read that as, this is me saying, this is my opinion of all Black people. No, that was just one character in one book. If that makes sense. That wasn't all. That wasn't my idea of everyone, but this was me writing a true character. Another little sticky situation is people are afraid to write honest or good characters. And we know that in literature, you can't have a perfect character. These people have to have flaws. They have to have honest negative aspects about them to make them interesting, because there are no perfect people other than Jesus Christ, who was also God. So, you know, we need to see a disabled person who, you know, is kind of a jackass, like, is kind of an asshole. Like, we need to see, you know, if you're writing about a different race, like, maybe they aren't, like, totally perfect. Like, maybe they have an attitude problem, or they, like, shoplift, or I don't know. I can't, that was kind of a stereotypical flaw, sorry. But, like, see, I'm, like, censoring myself, and that's what we got to get away from. But yeah, making realistic characters. So anyway, those are just a few thoughts on freedom and literature and the arts and expression. And, you know, you need to write your characters and you need to write your story. And don't be limited to just writing a, for me, like a whatever, white, middle class person in my 20s, you know? That's where the imagination kicks in. Like, what if you were in theater and you were only allowed to play a character that was exactly your age, exactly your race? Like, no, like, we need to have more freedom within imagination. We need to have more freedom within creativity. That's why it's creativity. It's not super literal and technical. So anyway, I hope that you can express, and I hope that you can enjoy, and I hope that you can find your honest voice, even if it doesn't look like what's expected of you, you know? So maybe you're going to wear cornrows and you're a white person, you know, maybe you're going to, I'm trying to think of other examples. Maybe you're really drawn to, like, hula dancing. You know, just enjoy your life and just be who you are, guys. No boundaries, no limits, especially within creativity and the arts. Like, we need to have freedom for all voices to be heard, of every color. So anyway, love you guys and hope and freedom to you. And again, feel free to check out the other videos I made on race today. I made several videos on racial discrimination, specifically within the arts. So just invite you guys to listen in. Bye.